and he breaks free down the middle of the field, and that is going to be no one other than KJ Smith, and he's in for a touchdown.
The Bulldog Radio Network proudly presents the Coach Gray Show on 102.7 FM, Kearney's hometown radio station. And now, here are the hosts of the show, Mike Davis, Jim Dickerson, and Coach Josh Gray.
Wow. Yes, I did that. Wow, I love the echo. It sounds like in a stadium. What's going on?
Echo.
That's fixed now. That was awesome, Brian.
That was exciting. We should have left that on for the whole show.
I think so. It sounds like, we're in the arena. The arena. It sounded good.
Leading off for the...
All
right. Leading off for the Royals, the third baseman, George Brett. Take your back.
Now the crowd noise. Sounded like a T-ball game crowd. Welcome to the Coach Gray and a golf clap.
It's not too different from the Royals in their last few games, actually.
Exactly.
I think their attendance was pushing 5,000 or something.
The familiarity that we have with Coach Josh Gray is reflected in the sort of haphazard way that we've started this show today. Coach, welcome to the Coach Gray Show.
Thanks, sir. Good to be back.
And more importantly, the Bulldogs coming off a 42-14, I'm going to go ahead and call it a beatdown, of the Winnetonka Griffins last Friday night. And congratulations on a terrific win. Great for the opportunity, I think, for the kids to go up against, no kidding, a very good team. Talented. We were just talking about a couple of the really fast, speedy, talented players that are on that outfit. I know they're well coached, and go Bulldogs. Nice job, Coach. Talk about it.
Yeah, that is like you said, a good competition and a good game for us to come out. And, we were able to execute like we wanted to execute. And that's, I think the type of ball that obviously that we are familiar to, and at least familiar to seeing, and it was able to translate over to the game field. And I think across the board, I thought we played pretty well. And, the good thing, after a win, like I've said, after a loss, we come back and watch the film on Saturday or Friday night and Saturday and reflect upon the good things and work on the things that we need to continue to improve. And, the guys are pretty dialed in. And Saturday, I think we're able to show them a lot of the successes that we had. And then able to...
George Brett.
And able to, continue to work on the things that we need to get better at. And, I think those were a lot less. And, each week we continue to get better. And I think, that's our strive each week is to, when you go through a week of practice, you get to Thursday, our practice is done, and we go into Friday, and it's like, hey, the week's over with. It's time to go have fun on the game field and execute like we're capable of, and play with some passion, and we were able to do that on Friday. And I think that's, the guys see that and are like, this is how we need to click.
I want to talk about the opening play of the game, number 21. We love the number 21, Luke Nolan, who took the opening kickoff to the house. What about that? How'd that make you feel?
Well, that's always a great way to start the football game.
Exactly.
That's a testament to him and the guys in front of him blocking for him, and him setting up that run. And he's obviously fairly fast.
That would be the understatement, the Coach Gray understatement of the year.
All right, well, that wraps up today's show.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
He was able to see the holes that the guys blocked and made some nice cuts, and then just turned on the jets and was able to get in the end zone. And when you do that, you want your special teams to bring that excitement to the sideline, and they definitely did that to start the game off. And what a great way to start it.
It set the
tempo.
Show that,
it set the tempo, and those guys, we on that unit, we work hard at all that during the week, and when you're able to capitalize that and see that, from the practice field to the game field, translate, it's pretty fun, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think more than anything, what I saw was a lot of power and movement, especially up front. I mean, look, we know we've got KJ. KJ Smith does a great job of running, and give him a little crack of daylight, and he's gone. But I think across the entire line of scrimmage, what I saw was just a dominating force up front on both offense and defense. Let's talk about the offense, that offensive line first.
Yeah, we graded them out. Coach Backus, our line coach, does a great job with them, and credit to him, and obviously credit to the guys of executing. And I think they all graded out at in the 90s and upper 80s when he graded out the film and went back through it. And that's a testament to them executing and kind of playing, for the most part, mistake-free ball and going out focused and able to go execute. And that's, we see that time and time again. And there's never a perfect play. I mean, very rarely, I should say, do you ever see everything where it's always exactly perfect. And there's always things that change. Obviously, the defense is coached up. They're trying to stop the ball from going down the field. And but I think our guys executed really well up front. They played physical and really took control of the line of scrimmage for sure.
Yeah, I saw Keenan McNally. Number one, I saw there's a couple of things. One thing I noticed, and this is just a little thing, he was out there when you guys got back from halftime, and he was leading the squad at in your pregame warm-ups, just when you come back from the locker room. And I thought, there's a reason for that. He's standing out there in front of the entire team, and he's leading them.
Yeah, Keenan's got a big personality and has really done a great job of transforming himself. And I know we talked about this and talked about him before, but he's done a good job of stepping up and doing some leadership and getting the guys fired up. And you see him, he's got a lot of emotion. He plays with a lot of emotion and has got a big personality, and the guys kind of thrive on that a little bit and react to that in a positive way. And it's good to see big old 7-7 out there.
The problem I have is I have trouble seeing him.
There are two guys, and the reason I held on to this Winnetonka roster because I can't remember which one that he was, and I don't think that Keenan necessarily lined up against him every time, but there was one. They've got two guys here, a couple of them. One is number 70, is a junior, and he was 275, and there was another guy, and he was 6'3", 275, and there's another guy, 6'2", 265, and another one that is 270. We have at least three guys that are close to 300 pounds. And yes, Keenan's tall, but I saw him still. I watched him because as I was watching these guys over there on the sideline from Winnetonka, because we're on that side, I'm looking at these huge guys, and yet even with his height, Keenan was getting leverage on these guys, and he was pushing them back. Am I wrong? Did my eyes deceive me?
They are big up front,
right?
And they're a physical football team. Winnetonka is, and I think Keenan was able to. I mean that's what he's capable of doing. I mean, and that's the thing is going out and performing that and seeing, man, these are things that I'm confident in doing.
Yes.
and executing what I'm supposed to do and doing it the right way. And he translate that from the practice field to the football field.
Yeah, and again, let's talk about KJ a little bit because I think it was obvious. KJ he opened up and he ran hard, and you could tell he was running with power. And then the other thing I noticed about him is that guy comes out of the line, through the line of scrimmage, really low. I mean, he runs low to the ground.
Yeah, I think with KJ, and I don't know if I said this before or not, and we were talking about it on Saturday with him, that he rolls over the ball well, and protects the ball as he kind of goes into the entry point of wherever the ball is going, but does a great job of bursting through and his vision and his ability to see things and his ability to see where to make a cut, where he needs to maybe make a jump cut or stick it in, get vertical and get up the yards and not, try to make too many cuts to where you're not going anywhere.
Right.
But to make that one cut and to burst and to if you're going to fall going forward. And he's really done a nice job of that. And that complemented with his vision and going through.
Yeah, 24 carries, 153 yards. Which,
not a bad day.
We'll take it all the time. So, but good job, him. And Zach Grace, another guy that just shows up. And he had had a couple of really nice catches. One for a touchdown that was called back on a holding. Yeah, all right. They called it. Whatever. And,
you look at me, I'm like,
I know.
That was what they called. That's what it is.
But he ran it for a touchdown, and the other one was a really nice pass over on our side. When I say our side, where Brian and I were sitting, and did a real nice job running didn't quite make it into the end zone, but set KJ up for about a 3-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
And he was brought down hard from behind in a way that might be questionable, but I can say it. I can listen. I can say it. So sort of say it, but people know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the guy is a beast, and I had no idea that Zach Grace had that leg speed, the turnover, to be able to just run that quick.
He's in track he throws. He's a disc guy. Throws. But he also trains in the hurdles, and I don't know how often.
It's a weird combination,
but it is. But he is. He's pretty quick. He's not. You look at him being, I don't know, what is he, 230 somewhere in there, and 6'3", something like that.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And he moves well, and he runs the ball hard, and he keeps his legs moving. But you saw him make a couple moves and throw out a stiff arm and make a spin. And, he just he doesn't have quit in his body. He just keeps on churning and going. And, some of the things that we're able to do with him offensively and making him a little bit more versatile has definitely helped out.
3 carries, 127 yards of rushing.
That's not bad.
No, Zach Grace.
Not bad.
Quite an athlete, and nice job of getting the ball in the.
And he's he's a humble kid, and he doesn't, he just does work. He just goes to practice every day and goes about his business and is coachable and all those things you want in a player that is doing things the right way and is very meticulous in that and just in the weight room you can't hold him back. I mean, hey, we're going to take it easy today. We just got off or whatever we're doing that day, and loads the bar up and just goes to town. And kids like that, that's always great and a great role model for the rest of the weight room and for the rest of the team on the field and in the locker room.
So you went into the locker room. It would have been 28 to 28-7. It would have been, I guess. Does that seem right? Because they scored a touchdown in the second quarter.
Yeah, it was my understanding there would be.
Right, exactly. I know it should be easier, but it's not.
It was.
Trust me.
So what you got to do?
Well,
and then carry the one.
Right, exactly. I know. That's hard to do, Jim.
Yeah, I know.
So here's the deal. Here's what I noticed. This team was dominating the Kearney Bulldogs. The Kearney Bulldogs were taking it to them, and it was palpable, and you could tell because they were frustrated. The Winnetonka outfit, their squad, was a little frustrated. And this is me talking. I don't think they've been punched in the mouth yet this year until last Friday night.
Yeah, and that's a testament to our kids and how they're driven. They they go into halftime up with a lead, and like you said, and I think it clicked. And I know I've said that before, but this is the piece I think that they saw going to play a good team, seeing what they're able to do, and believing in themselves, going at halftime, come back out at half and understand it's a second half, 0-0. You got to come out like you did the first half. And, that was, I think, the big piece at halftime that we said was, hey, there's another half of football. I mean, we've been in that position before on the other end where we've got to make sure that we're coming out doing what and execute how we're capable of doing it and make sure we're not, taking that relaxing breath where you kind of like, well, I can just take a breather here. You're not able to do that in a game of football or any competition for that matter. I mean, you got to make sure you're playing the whole game the entire time for every second, every minute. and focused in on what it is that you're supposed to do, because that's what good teams do. They don't just, I can relax. We're up whatever the score was to whatever. It's if you're going to be a consistent football team and go far in the playoffs and beat teams that you need to beat, it's got to be an all the time thing. I mean, that's what good teams do. They don't let up, they don't stop, and it doesn't matter who's in the ball game at any particular time. It's you got to go execute. And I think, we came out at halftime, like you said, Keenan kind of got them going before we did our warm up, and they were dialed in and executed the second half the same way. And that's kind of the expectation. That's what we expect from them. I mean, we don't ever let up. We don't ever let down. We don't back down. We don't, take a little breath and think, well, we're okay. We can just kind of go out there and go through the motions. And that's not what good teams do. And if you want to be a good team, to be a great team, you got to make sure you're paying attention to the little details all the time and being focused in, because those are the things that can end up biting you in the long run when you do take that breath. And then the other team gets the momentum and gets rolling, and then now you're on your heels. And the key is, if you do get on your heels or they get another score on you, that you bow your neck and you punch back and you keep fighting, and you keep trusting each other and relying on the guy next to you, that everybody just does their job and execute 100% of the time. Then you're good to go.
Yeah, everybody contributed to this win, and man, there's nothing more cathartic than a win. And I mean, I saw everybody out there just contributing, and it was good to see. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show. We're going to take a short break here. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about the defense. Stay with us.
A special thank you going out to underwriters like these for their support of KPGZ.
I'm Sean Barber, owner of Stables Local Kitchen and Patio in Kearney. Stables is a Kearney thing. We are all about our Kearney community. We love to be the place where people get together. Stables features a full menu with a scratch kitchen, offering lunch and dinner options. Stables has been a proud member of the Kearney community for almost 20 years, and we are very appreciative of the ongoing support from this wonderful community. You can check us out online at stables816.com, and Stables is part of the True 816 family. Eat, drink, local.
Celebrate fall with the Holiday Trio. Bees, Flowers, and Gifts is offering 3 months of unique flower arrangements to share and celebrate those special months of October, November, and December. Each bouquet features a seasonally themed assortment delivered in a charming holiday vase. The Holiday Trio is now available at Bees, Flowers, and Gifts, 100 West Washington Street in Kearney, 816-628-6811, and their website is beesflowers.com. Bees, your first choice for flowers.
Welcome back to the Coach Gray Show. We were just looking at some highlights that many of you who are watching our simulcast saw, some video highlights of the game, and I saw a nice spin move by KJ for an extra yard or two.
Yeah, he doesn't have quit.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the people that are listening on radio are
Yeah,
wondering, why does the music play for so long? Because they can't see the video. And
we're looking at the pictures.
We're watching the game.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
more reason that you need to tune in to KMO-TV.
Absolutely
and be
right.
watching the game as it were. Hey, real quick before we get back to Coach Gray, just want to give a shout out to the seniors in the Powder Puff game, which I think was last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I lose track of my nights. So the seniors, in a toughly battled contest, beat the juniors, and I forget the score, but I know they won. It was close.
It was close. They were
Yeah.
up. I think it was up. The juniors were up 12, or the sophomores. I think the game was close to the sophomores.
So, and a little unknown fact, that my first broadcast live game experience was a Powder Puff game.
Look how far you've come.
And I know. And, the funny thing was, so this was, let's just say.
I think it was a step
I was
backward.
gonna say, it was many years ago when I did this, but many, many years ago. I'm not even sure the radio had been invented, but so I was doing the broadcast from the booth, and this girl that was the quarterback was just horrid. I mean, she couldn't hit anything. So I thought, what a time to bring some explanation. And it had rained, and the way it was kind of funny because the way the light, you remember the lights.
Is there a point to this?
I'm getting to it. Shut up. The lights were reflecting off this big puddle, and I said, well, the reason for her inaccuracy is probably because of the lights. And everybody in the stands turned around and looked at me, and it was at that point I realized that stuff I thought was funny really isn't. And my comedy career ended right about that point.
Forgot what I was going to say.
Welcome to my world.
All right. I want to talk about our Stables player of the game. And, you talk about gritty. You talk about a guy, and I kind of mentioned it here. I was waxing poetic when I described this guy. But, the guys in the trenches rarely get the recognition they deserve. We know that. And I wanted to celebrate a guy who is not afraid to take a punch, who just absolutely gets in there and just gets dirty. And you can tell the guy likes to hit. Our Stables player of the game this week is number 94, Sam Lohman. He had 6 total tackles, and he had a sack. Yeah, tough. And look at the face on that guy.
That's very misleading.
I know it. I know it. He just looks so kind and likable, and I'm sure he is. His mom would tell you as much. But I'm telling you, you look at this guy and then put that helmet on and put him out on the field and look out.
Yeah, it's kind of like Transformers, or you could reference the Incredible Hulk again. Sam's he's been played last year. And came back this year, with a little more sense of purpose, had a little more, about him and his training and the things that he was doing to get himself ready for the season. And, I think he totally flips the switch because he is a super kid, super athlete, and, fun to be around, makes the good in the locker room. He kind of lightens the mood at times. But when he goes out on the field and it's time to go to work, he gets super intense, and just flips that switch and transforms into beast mode and just does a good job because playing nose, he plays nose and he plays some DN for us, at times, but more than not, he's playing nose and, you're getting double teamed and, cut block and, just as really, perfected or working to perfect his game at that position because that's a tough position to play. It's not just get off the ball and go forward. I mean, there's a lot of technique in defeating a double team and what when you get a pull or what you're all those things that you're doing, and he just takes that part seriously and has really done a great job for us this year. And Sam, I think is starting to play some of his best football and which is a good time to do it, and
sure is.
And that's a great player for you to pick. And he did an extremely nice job. And he got a fumble recovery, off a blocked field goal attempt. And I told him, had he scored on that, that we would have come up with a play to put him in the backfield. And he was,
yeah.
He kind of sighed and was like, "Oh, dang it!" But
in fact, I noticed that in your the Kearney football Week 6 Players of the Week, you had him as your trench Player of the Week, which good call, obviously. And then offensive KJ Smith, and then on defense you had Cole, number 3, and Luke Nolan, special forces. Obviously, we've talked about all these guys. Real quickly, let's talk about Cole, number 3.
Yeah. Drake, and I think he was a special forces the week before, maybe 2 weeks before, but he plays one of our safety spots, one of our safety positions. And, and I've talked about him before, about kind of the determination that he came into the season with, kind of the mentality. I mean, he's a kid that's been around and had an opportunity in front of him and seized the moment and has really not only become a great pass defender at that safety spot, but comes downhill very similar to Luke at times, and just, is not afraid to get his nose in there and play the game of football. It's not afraid to come downhill, make the hit, make the tackle, get in on whatever needs to, or drive and break on a ball and get physical with a receiver. And it's been great to see him evolve in what he does and play with that confidence and how he's capable of playing, and has just really done a nice job.
I think especially you have so much speed, and a lot of these guys they're kind of built for speed. I mean, they're kind of lanky and
rangy.
But they're not these big hulking guys like number 94 Sam Loman, or but I'm hulking in another way that I don't care to talk about. But in any case, the feeling, Jim. In any case,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep, exactly. What you see though is a guy that he's just not as big as everybody else. What's he weigh in at? 165. So that's not huge. But how do you deliver power when you're like that?
And all that, to me, that's just a mentality, and not questioning what your ability is, and having that. I mean, sometimes offensive guys are offensive guys, and he's a better offensive guy. And sometimes just have that switch and flip that switch a little bit different, and you play defense and you run downhill and you find the football. And he does a good job of doing that.
Yeah. And there's another guy, and again, he's not a great big guy, but number 13, Joe Marshall. In fact, he's 150 according to this, but that guy, get out of town. I mean, that guy can absolutely. Is this thing right or not? 150?
Yeah,
that seems okay. But I mean, also these guys are about 0% body fat.
That's what I would agree with.
I wish I had that problem.
I know. But all of that to say, Joe Marshall did a great job last year against Essex, number 11.
Right.
He did another great job this year against Essex, number 11.
Yeah, he was matched up with him quite a bit throughout the evening.
Yeah.
And, Joe's, I know not to throw the word gritty around.
Let's do.
But
it's your show.
He's a kid that, he may be, like comparably undersized.
Yeah.
At times up against a bigger receiver, a taller receiver, or, but I think his technique, his speed, his confidence in himself, and his kind of just body language, his mindset is they're not going to catch it. They're not going to, I'm going to make the tackle. If I'm playing off coverage or whatever, I'm going to come up and I'm going to make the tackle. And he made some great tackles in space, which is huge against teams, with speed and athleticism, and that can kind of set you up and double move you, and just does a really nice job of doing it. Now, like I've said before, in the secondary, you make a wrong, you do something technique wrong, or you blow a coverage or whatever the case may be, it gets noticed pretty quick, right? But, in the secondary, you have to have kind of a short memory, and it's got to be that next play mentality, because they're going to come back at you again, and you better be ready. And he does a really good job of that. And I thought he did a really nice job on Friday, as did the entire secondary. I think did a nice job across the board, and really, really stepped up. We knew they were going to throw the football and try to get in some of their playmakers' hands, and we were able to get some pressure on them to help with the cause as well, to get some untimely passes made, and So that was definitely good. But Joe does a nice job out on an island majority of the time by himself.
He was a candidate, by the way, for our Player of the Week. He was in consideration for sure. With 7 solo tackles. Now that's what you talk about.
Right.
You're going to get solo tackles if you're doing your job in the secondary.
Right.
And that's a nice night, and 1 assist, so a total of 8 tackles, and 1 tackle for loss. So on a blitz, I guess then it would appear.
Right.
So yeah. So I mean, there's an all-around back a guy that all-around defensive back a guy that you don't mind putting in there.
No, not at all.
Right?
I mean, and we have a lot of confidence in him and what he's able to do, and that. I think that tackle probably would have been on a little quick screen outside and came up and made a nice play.
He read it and
read it and came up and made the play in the backfield under on an island, like I said. And those are the things I think we've become a lot better at across the board defensively is tackling in space. I think defensively right now we're running to the ball really well, and everybody's arriving at the ball angry, and that's what you want defensively.
Well, yeah, and you know that as a defender, as a corner, and from the corner position, if you're reading a screen pass and you're thinking, okay, I got this, you better be sure.
You better
of
be
it,
sure. That's right.
Because otherwise, it's 6 points.
Right,
It's going
and
the
with
other
a
direction.
receiver like him, that typically our corners go up against, they're big and tall and got some meat on their bones and are physical, and going up and trying to tackle them high and just kind of wrestle them down. It doesn't always work. So our guys and the Coach Wendell, our defensive backs coach, and Coach Brinkley do really set some things up. Coach Kohlauer coaches our safeties and does a great job with those guys, and Coach Daniels with the D-line defensively have really got things clicking in the right direction, and we're seeing the progress week to week. Defensively on how we're playing and the mentality that we're playing with.
Yeah, Darren Langford had 8 total tackles, 4 solo and 4 assisted. And again, I think he's that. I see him in there with Will Lincoln, and 33 and 34, and he's everywhere. Both of those guys. Yeah,
they've got a knack for the ball, and they're spending extra time not only in the scouting report but after practice. They want to learn more, and they want to know all they can about what it is, whoever we're playing, and how can they get better, and what do they need to do to get better, and all of those things. And that's what you want from your guys is, what extra can I do so that I can be better for the team, and what I can be better, how can I help the team out better? And that knowledge, obviously shows because they're all over the place.
Yeah, talk about the football IQ that it takes to be a linebacker, to be in a position like that.
You got a lot of checks. It takes a lot. It takes extra time. It's not show up to practice, go home, come back the next day. There's a lot of time. There's film sessions. There's getting in your scouting report, watching film of the opposing team, watching practice film. What did I do during practice that I need to get cleaned up and learn from that? And the linebackers are making the strength call. They're making checks. They're doing all those things that gets the D-line and the rest of the core set up. And, same thing in the secondary. Our safeties make those checks and making sure the back half is doing what they need to do, and communication is key. So it takes a lot. I like to think that our defense and what we do defensively is, not, to me, it's not, you don't want a defense trying to think too much. You don't want to put too much on the plate and not be good at anything and overwhelm. You don't want them thinking out on the field playing defense or anything, but for that matter. But defensively, you want them just to react and go get the ball. Ultimately, that's what defense comes down to is who's going to arrive at the ball first and who's going to be angriest at the ball and make sure we're executing in position to do that, and what your fits are. And as a linebacker, you're playing the pass, you're playing the run, and it takes a lot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Drake Cole had 7 total tackles, and we just talked about him a little while ago. But as I look at these defenders here, these are numbers here that stand out week after week. Drake Cole, Isaac Bates, Joe Carpenter got in a little bit this year, and I think special teams.
Yeah.
He had a tackle. At least I saw him on one tackle.
Yeah,
for sure.
he was in played some safety for us.
Yeah, okay. And
as well.
Yeah, and it goes all the way
And
down.
he's a big time
list.
special teams player. Joe's a great. I know you guys, I think, had him on a couple weeks ago.
Yes, and he's with the National Guard.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
What a great young man he is, and a great example, and the things that he has done and is going to do, and comes in and plays football, and just as a amazingly disciplined young man, and does a great job.
Private first class, Joe Marshall. Yes, because he
Carpenter.
Carpenter.
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Yep. He's in. Am I the only one that's ever done that? I'm hoping. Yes,
I do that all the time.
I know it's easy to do. We're listening to the Coach Gray Show. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show. We are putting on the Coach Gray Show, but we're not putting on Coach Gray. Nothing gets by this man. I know that. I can tell. I know him. Stay with us. We've got a bunch of great sponsors for this program and for the football program. You are listening to the Coach Gray Show for sure. Come back.
Programming heard on KPGZ is being underwritten by these local businesses.
I'm Sean Barber, owner of Stables Local Kitchen and Patio in Kearney. Stables is a Kearney thing. We are all about our Kearney community. We love to be the place where people get together. Stables features a full menu with a scratch kitchen, offering lunch and dinner options. Stables has been a proud member of the Kearney community for almost 20 years, and we are very appreciative of the ongoing support from this wonderful community. You can check us out online at stables816.com, and Stables is part of the True 816 family. Eat, drink, local.
Celebrate fall with the Holiday Trio. Bees Flowers and Gifts is offering 3 months of unique flower arrangements to share and celebrate those special months of October, November, and December. Each bouquet features a seasonally themed assortment delivered in a charming holiday vase. The Holiday Trio is now available at Bees Flowers and Gifts, 100 West Washington Street in Kearney, 816-628-6811, and their website is beesflowers.com. Bees, your first choice for flowers.
That was for those of you who are on the radio. Yeah, for those of you who are on the radio, we apologize because we were watching video again and got all caught up in it. And I'm now going to ask a question of our producer that's going to get me in a whole lot of trouble, but that's nothing new for me. Where did we get the video?
Brian shot that video.
Oh.
He had a camera set up, and we didn't have a booth, but I think we're going to fix that next year.
Of course we did.
Right, I know. Actually,
it's actually really good video.
Yeah, it was.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Brian had it set up, and he does a wonderful job. And in fact, I noticed it right there.
There it is. For those of you who are on the radio, you're missing it, but there's a little pitch. Look at that. Oh.
That's just what we saw. So much. We see that breakaway run right there. That was awesome.
Did he score?
I don't know. Well, let's get back to this.
Yes or no?
Yeah, the picture's stuck for some reason. There we go. But Jim was unclear, and I clearly was unclear.
I was going to say, there's a shocker.
Right, on the Joe Marshall and Joe Carpenter. We get the Joes mixed up. They're just a couple of Joes, you know. Their moms wouldn't say so much. But Joe Carpenter, I did want to mention, and you mentioned it off the air, Coach. In fact, why don't you tell the story? What was he doing last summer?
Well, he went to boot camp last summer and was gone all summer. And going into his senior year and his senior football season, was gone all summer, and was worried that maybe he wouldn't be able to play. And I'm like, absolutely, when you get back, come back, and we'll get everything rolling. And what a great young man, and has priorities set, and just does a great job of leading, and not knowing that he's leading, just by doing the things that he does, and is a great example of the kids that we have in school, kids on the team. I mean, it's just another example of the great kids that we have here. And Joe does a great job on special teams, comes in and plays one of our safety spots, and what a great young man.
No doubt about it. I mean, we
has his priorities in check.
Yes,
he's on point.
We got to meet him because he is a member of the Missouri National Guard, and what a great representative of not only the football team in Kearney, Missouri, and his parents and everybody else, but of the nation. These are the people who protect our freedom. Think of that for a minute. Forget football. Think of that for a minute. Yeah.
I feel a lot safer knowing
I do too.
He's a good young man.
Yes, absolutely right. And what a neat opportunity to meet those guys. Okay, it's wide open now. I've kind of talked about, I think, most of the guys that, because the only thing that's wrong with not having us calling the game is we don't have a play of the game, and I miss that on these.
There was a few of them. I think you could have had quite a few.
Yeah. Well, okay. I will tell you this, because as we were watching those the videotapes, the highlights that Brian shot, I noticed that there was at least one pass thrown by Ian Acosta, and that was and I didn't see who caught the ball, but it was a long pass downfield, and I don't remember who it was because we were just watching it on video. But there's a guy that seems to be. I liked where he was last year, and that's kind of where I'm seeing where he is this year.
He's a very versatile young man, and what a great athlete, and he is versatile. He can he's a weapon to throw the football. He's obviously a weapon to run it, whether he's at wide receiver or wherever we end up putting him. And that's a testament to him willing to do whatever he can to help the team be successful, and does a great job of doing that. One of our captains, and just does a tremendous job. And it's not about him; it's about whatever he can do, and whatever he can do to help. And those are the types of kids that you want in your program. And I think and we're pretty blessed that our guys understand that piece and understand where they fit in, and what they need to do to continue to help us be successful. And he's one of those guys that just does, hey, what do you need me to do? And goes about his business.
Yes, he does. And he quietly went about his business with 9 yards of passing, 49 yards of rushing, and 15 yards of receiving for a total of 73 total yards. And
versatile.
Yeah. I mean, that's you like a guy that you can kind of plug and play.
Right. And, and Casey Rooney, our other quarterback that comes in and does some things. He's a talented young man, and for being a sophomore to be able to step up into some situations he's been in has been great to see. And, he continues to grow each week and continues to understand what what he needs to do and how to go about that. But very composed, very coachable, is always yes, sir, no, sir. I see what you saw, and goes back and wants to be good. And that's, what you want out of that quarterback position. But, I think the one thing with him is that he continues not only week by week, but day by day, getting better and understanding offensively what we're doing, and has done a good job.
Yeah, he looks way more relaxed in the pocket now.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's starting to accept that role a lot better, and that he's just more comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, and that just trusting your O-line and knowing that, okay, there might be somebody that's pressing there, but to stay in that pocket for 1 second longer, or, move up into the pocket to deliver the mail, or, whatever that looks like for him to do. He's getting better each week with that. And that's been great to see, and definitely helps us in week to week as we go on throughout the rest of the season here.
We've kind of led into something that, so what we did, I've been taking things that I hear people say, or they ask questions about the game because they don't understand exactly. So last week we talked about like the Mike linebacker and all that sort of thing. This week I overheard someone, they were talking about, they didn't understand packaging and how that worked. They just assume you send guys out there and who's out there. Talk just real briefly for the educational standpoint of, what's based on what the situation is, how you work, how packaging works for what you put out there on the field.
So we have a couple different personnel groups that we put out. We've got kind of a heavy package where we bring another O-lineman in, a young man that's has played guard for us, Trace Dunlap. He comes in that kind of call it a plus package and has done a great job of being on the field for that and was on the field. We were in that quite a bit, kind of go along the lines of if it's not broke, don't mess up a good thing if something's working. And so it's different groupings, personnel groupings. So you may have an extra lineman in, you may have an extra wide receiver in, you may have, there's times where we have KJ back there taking the snap, doing some different things, just kind of trying to just different personnel packages, doing different things out of each package, but yet the same, if that makes any sense.
And then obviously a package for 3rd and 1 is different than 3rd and 10.
Sure.
Or something like that.
Right. And it depends on the time, what's left in the game. I mean, are you in your 2-minute offense? Are we looking to throw the ball more? Are we looking to, what is it that we're trying to accomplish at the particular time during the game? And, Coach Diefenbach, our offensive coordinator, does a great job in organizing that and has put together a lot of great different, I don't know if that makes sense, but a lot of different things that packages that allow us to be able to capitalize on some things that some other guys bring to the table out on the field offensively.
I think it's matchups in a lot of cases, not necessarily individual ones.
Right.
But I'm guessing. So it is that's one of the things that the different packages are designed to do.
Right. So, obviously if you bring more linemen in, a lot of times we'll run the ball a little bit more, or, sometimes you do that and you're able to throw the ball a little bit more depending upon what kind of look you get from the defense, and take what they're kind of giving you and then opposing our will on whatever we want to do if need be to get it done.
Of course, my favorite is you see it every week where someone, not necessarily here, but in college games and stuff, you see where they back themselves up on penalties, and then it's like 3rd and 30, and the guy will go, well, what kind of play do you have for that?
There's not one. That's a tough.
Not in the book.
We've been in those situations.
There isn't a team out there that hasn't.
And that's a rough one to get yourself into.
And the coach is like going, let me see, I don't have.
The 3rd and 30 is not in there.
I don't even think on Andy Reid's pancake menu he has that.
Okay.
Or Waffle House menu.
I want to segue on what you just said, pancake, because you guys have a stat that's pancake blocks, right?
We do. We do. We mark them down as pancake blocks. I think they're marked down if they are in there. But
yeah.
What we do is Coach Backus devised so here's a little background, a little quick story. Coach Backus, a few years back, we were getting quite a few holding penalties, and what that translates to is the lineman holding and trying to take him down. Well, if you're doing that, you're not continuing to block or you're not continuing to move. So to try and alleviate some holding calls, we went with a blackout. So when you get a blackout, means that you've blocked your man out of the screen. So we hand out blackout. Well, you get a blackout sticker for so many blackout blocks that you make. So that means that you're continuing to block, you're continuing to work. You haven't dropped a guy and then you're not doing anything. So it's a continued piece. So those pancakes, we don't recognize them in the program as a pancake, but we recognize them as blackouts that we blocked the guy out of the. Hopefully I didn't confuse you on that.
I prefer pancakes.
I'm sure everybody.
And in fact, we have witnessed Keenan McNally pancakes.
Now there's a lot of pancakes that happen. I'm not going to say that does not happen and it doesn't maybe get recognized.
And when it does, we call it out.
But
believe me.
There's quite a few of those from the crew up front.
Well, okay, so let's give these guys then. I want to give them credit. I got Lucas Starr here, number 51. He's a senior. He's got 3 either blackouts or pancakes.
He's got more than that, but I will say
from the other night.
Yeah.
Last night.
Okay.
Or Friday night.
And Connor Smith, number 55. Trace Dunlap's got 3. And then Briggs Terwilliger has, he's number 70. He had 1. And Carter Schmidt has 4. And Keenan McNally has, guess what, 4.
Yeah.
For a total of 18. So whatever it is these guys did, I mean, this combination of 18 blackouts or pancake blocks, I mean, that is a way to quantify what we talked about at the beginning of this show, and that is the offensive and defensive lines just dominated.
And it's crucial, and these guys are going to have to continue to play like that.
Yeah.
And they're obviously, as you've seen, they're very capable against some very good competition. And, you know, with Trace being able to come in there and do some things offensively,
he's a sophomore too.
He is a sophomore,
big boy.
Which is great to see him come in and do some really good things. So that's definitely a good personnel package for us.
If he weighs 200, sorry Jim, if he weighs 240 pounds now as a sophomore, we're just to kind of want to project.
And he's
him.
a weight room kid.
Oh.
You know, those are two things that you know go hand in hand. A lineman that likes the weight room, and you know is able to come in and
It's like
do
peanut butter and jelly.
It is.
Well, that's what I was going to say before we talk about tomorrow night's game. Is there any kind of stat we could do and call biscuits and gravy?
Interesting.
I'm all in.
Interesting.
Oh, I like that.
I'll see what I can come up with and see what I can bring back next week.
I
And,
like that better than peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, a
we
little
can talk
biscuits
about-
and gravy there.
Yeah, that'll stick to your ribs. I like the sound of that. But great guys again. You know, Lucas Starr. Let's talk about him a little bit because I think he's right there in the middle, right?
He is. He's
your
our center.
Yeah.
And, you know, Luke has done a great job. He's one of our captains and does a great job of leading that group up front and just takes his job. I mean, it's go time when it's time to go for him. And I can't say enough about him. He does a great job of execution, does a great job of, you know, snapping and then going to block. And I mean, all those things that obviously your center needs to be able to do and does a great job with that. And, you know, he's one that over the last 2 years has continued to grow and get better. And it's definitely showing this season. So definitely proud of him.
Yeah, I can't get enough of these guys. And Jim, I'm going to let you do the promo. Let's talk about, and we want Coach to talk a little bit about who we're going to play, but I want you, Jim, to let the folks know that it is homecoming, and let's talk about this Friday night.
Seems to me that Mike's already done that. Stole my thunder there. But tomorrow night, in case you didn't know, is homecoming, and we are going to be playing the Raytown South Cardinals. And there's all sorts of stuff going on tomorrow. And I'm going to defer to you to tell me what it is because I have forgotten.
Well,
6:40 pregame.
Well, that part I know.
All right.
But is there a parade tomorrow? What do we...
There we go.
My job is to try to keep everybody not
Focused.
distracted and focused tomorrow and this whole week. But
So,
needless to say, we've got a parade at 2. We have the high school's got a Pep Assembly at the end of it's a half day, and we have a Pep Assembly and
I used to love those,
lots
by
of-
the way, the half day.
lots of good fun throughout the day. And we have the parade starts at 2, goes through the downtown area, and then from there I try to get everybody
I was going
back.
to say, you've got to get
Everybody back in
yeah.
focus and try to stay as normal. After that, we go back and we do our pregame meal and roll business as usual.
Because we've got Raytown South.
That's right.
Let's talk about them real quickly.
They're, you know, I don't think their record indicates how good a team they are. I think they're athletic. They've got playmakers at wide receiver. The running back has been a playmaker for them, and their quarterback. They run some read option offensively, and you know that's always a assignment football, making sure that we make those tackles in space, like I talked about earlier. That we're making sure tackles, everybody's getting to the football and wrapping up. You know, we don't want to give up a big play, and you know, at times I think they've capitalized on some big plays in some of the games that they've been in. And for us, it's defensively is making sure that we're not giving up a big play and that we're playing assignment ball and we're making great tackles in space and being out physical them from the start of the game. And offensively, their D line, and you'll see them tomorrow. They've got a big crew down with their front line, with their D line, and they get off the ball pretty well. And, I think for us, again, it talks about how important our O-line is going to be this week on Friday, and making sure that we're doing our job and playing assignment ball and not trying to do too much and again, out physicaling them.
I think it seems like last time we played Raytown South, I remember their line being pretty big.
They
weren't small.
Big dudes, and they get off the ball well.
So, yeah, be sure to join us tomorrow at 6:40 for the pregame on 102.7 FM. And the game starts at 7 o'clock. We'll be there. It'll be homecoming. And, 102.7 FM for the game, or you can listen online at 1027carneymo.com. I think that's all we've got.
Wonderful job, Jim. Thank you. We'll see you all tomorrow night at the stadium. Be there or be square. And more cowbell, please. Please, more cowbell.
That's right.
And we'll see you tomorrow night. 6:40 for the pregame. Go Bulldogs.